Hey guys, it's Ducon Red 1 and welcome to episode 8 of Chateau de Lumière. We're going to be working on the servants' quarter today. We're going to be working on the servants building, the kennels, and this outer wall section right here. So all of this and also the lower courtyard. So by the end of today's video, we're going to be able to look at this from this direction and all of this is going to be finished. So I am super excited for this and really hoping that it's going to turn out as good as I'm hoping. So that'll be our goal for today. This building's going to have it's going to be about 2 stories high, and there's going to be a balcony out front that's going to come out a little bit so that the building's probably actually going to be about this thick coming out to here, and it's going to have like a slowly sloping roof, and then it's going to go up to a Gothic pitch and back down. Now later, probably in a following episode, maybe even next episode, we're going to be adding terraces on the outside of Lumiere. There's going to be a terrace going all the way to the corner of this building. In fact, I might even bring it around a little bit more to the Great Hall so the kitchen underneath can have a little bit of a garden next to it. So we'll think about that later on. But anyways, there's going to be a terrace going all the way around the front and the sides of Lumiere. And I think that's going to turn out really nice. We're going to be sure to naturalize it into the terrain and make it look really cool. So, but yeah, super excited for that. And also that means that we can have like a laundry, a place to wash clothes, and the different functions servants would do in a castle. There's going to be on that terrace along the back. But the ones over there are going to be gardens and just beautification. Just a beautiful terrace kind of thing. So there's going to be a well right here. That's where they're going to get their fresh water. Now there is also going to be probably a water source underneath the castle. So if they can't access the well during, say, if this gates get sieged, they can just come back here, go into the crypts or down underground and get some water from there. So that's the idea about that. And maybe even they'll be connected, the well, to the other water source. But yeah, that is the idea for today. We've also expanded the kennels just a little bit. They're a little bit bigger than the last time you've seen them, but this is pretty much the same idea. A couple little changes since the last episode. I did add some stone underneath here. I think that looks a whole lot better. And of course, making the murder holes like that, I think that looks really nice. But yeah, that is that. And then also the bellows and the blacksmith, we've changed just a little bit. I've added just a little bit more detail. I'm still not super happy with it, but hey, it's something, and it looks better than what it did before. So that is that. So without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started, and let's get this done. Alright, so we're going to start by working on the wall out here. We're going to use this as an outline to give us a general idea of where we're going to be building things and how we're going to build it. The reason why I decided to go with the wall first is because we already know the design. We have pretty much a duplicate of it on the other side, and we just went ahead and went with that, and I think that works out pretty well. So now we're going to be working on the kennels right here. The kennels, there is a pretty, I guess it's a fairly unique design. I was inspired to do it from watching Game of Thrones, the Winterfell kennels. They're basically walking in through the front and there being kennels on both sides. I was really inspired by that. Don't ask me how I was inspired by it, but I was, and I think it looks pretty good. It turns out pretty nice. With the air vents, the windows, and everything, I think it really looks cool. But now we head on the inside, and this is where the actual cages for the dogs are going to be. This is where the dogs will be kept. Now, the reason why a castle would have hounds is because the dogs/hounds would, one, be great for hunting. They would, sniff out the prey, and then they would lead the lord to the prey. And then also, say if they're looking for someone, dogs are known for being able to sniff out and find escaped convicts and such like that. So that's why they would have dogs. Also, they make they're very loyal protectors, and so eventually we're gonna have like a guard dog on duty here by the gate. You'll see later on. So I want to build a sort of front porch or like a overhang in the building right there, and I think that works out. Now the diagonal roof is a little difficult. We have to fix that, but the whole idea with diagonals is you're gonna have to work it out. I mean, it's very difficult to make a perfect diagonal roof on your first try, so you just gotta sort of improvise as you go along, and eventually you'll hopefully come up with something really good. So I use, again, that tan clay, that is aka the yellow clay, to make that, add in that contrast. I think it really works. I think it looks great, and it really adds in that special effect. We did the same thing over on the guards or the craftsman's building over there. The dormers on the top, I think that looks pretty good. I feel like they were uneven though, so I moved one dormer over, and I think that I think that'll look pretty. Yeah, right there, I move it over. And then, of course, the battlements on the back, very important for the defensive nature of Lumiere. So the well right here, we're going to be building the well that's going to probably it goes down pretty deep underground, and it'll connect to an underground spring, which will be connected to the other side of the castle eventually. And we go with a basic, or not a basic, but a semi-basic pulley design for the well to lift and lower the bucket of water. So that area of the roof right there where the kennels and the servants building connect, I just felt like that roof was a little bit flat, so I went ahead and added a tower here, or a turret, and I think it works out really well. Plus, purpose-wise, it acts as a stair tower, which we really needed, so it really works well for right there. We add some arrow slits / windows on the back, again for defensive purpose, and also so that it adds some light on the inside. A little batter at the bottom. If you guys don't know what batter is, it's the part of a wall that supports. It sort of slants out at the bottom, and it supports the wall from collapsing in on itself. I wanted to add like a little design there in the middle of the courtyard, but it ends up we're not gonna really do anything with that. So we're adding and working on little details here in the the porch here, and I'm not quite sure what's going on at this point, but we just keep working on it, and it turns out really nice in the end. A little balcony there, and also you'll see that I moved the well back. That's for balance purpose. That was definitely necessary in order to really make this this area look better. It adds a little bit more room. So there's the guard dog on duty. I had a little dog house there. And now we're adding in little details to the courtyard, things that will make the courtyard look like it's alive, like there's stuff going on there. And so that's the general idea, is you just want to add in things that will really help bring your build to life. And that's what we do, and I think it really works out in the end. So I wanted to add a little statue right there. We change it several times. It even changes, after the recording, but overall, I like the general idea of it being there. So now we're gonna head into the actual servants building. You'll see that I have doors right there. They were actually going to be to lead out to a terrace on the outside, but I think we're going to not do the terrace because I think that might be a defensive flaw of Lumiere. So I don't know, we may still, but we're gonna have to figure something out for that. So the inside, we use plaster for the walls, and that dev block. Not even sure what that's called. It's like a wood carving for the walls, and then we got the dark wood carving for the top border. Little fireplace right there. This is going to be the hall, or the eating area / socializing room for the servants while they're off duty. This is where they would sort of sit back, relax, and chill from a hard day of work. That's kind of the idea there. And then down here, we're going to be working on the cellar / basement of the servants building. Just going to be adding in little bits of storage, things that they would need to survive on, just stuff like that. And I think that works out pretty good. And then there's that rat. I think it's kind of funny looking when it's sped up like this, banging its nose in the ground. But anyways, now we're going to be working on the area up here. This is the loft area, aka where the servants are going to sleep, and we add a few beds in here. I think it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beds or so. But as you can see, there's a loft up there, and then we separate, into different rooms. So we we don't have those bunk beds there later on, but you'll see that I add a room over here to the right and the left. So we have 4 bunk beds back there, and we separate that into its own little room. I think that having a bit of privacy is pretty important. And again, we have another room that we're going through right now. That's another room for like a single servant. Maybe it's like one of the, maybe one of the only women of, the only maid, possibly. I don't know. And then all the rest are men. Probably then like women are up here as well. And then the other 4 are like guys or something. Maybe there's some sort of like privacy like that going on here. But yeah, now we're going to be working on the steward's place in here, and this is where the steward would be. The steward would be the guy that commands the servants and passes down the orders from the leadership of the castle and tell the servants what to do. But anyways, the steward would have a fairly nice bedroom, and so we put him in here. He has nice view looking out in the courtyard and things like that, and I think that works out pretty well. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the other side. So there we have it, guys. This is the servants building for Chateau de Lumière. This is where all the servants, the steward of the castle and such like that, this is where they would live. I'm pretty happy with the design. I really like how it looks from the front. You can definitely now see the general look of Crying when you look at it this way. Obviously, you still have some planning over here, but we'll get that done eventually in future episodes, of course, but that will be to come, and I think that'll turn out. There have been some changes since the recording, some things that you guys have not seen. One, that we've changed this statue. I wanted to make it just a little bit more interesting, and I'm not sure if this is actually more interesting. We're probably going to end up changing that, so I think that that's probably going to be for the best, but I think for right now, that'll work. I don't really want to work with that right now. So the reason why I changed this cart around right here, you'll see, remember that it was back right up against this right here to indicate that this cart was being unloaded and the supplies were being lifted up to here and then into the bell tower here. However, the thing is with that, just like that, with the statue, that little fence there, and the well, it seemed like all of the detail was just sort of flat against this side. However, since we moved that out, it broke it up, and it makes it so that the detail is more diversified versus being just this flat sort of like, you know, almost like it's a design showcase, like something that you can just look right here and you can see 4 different designs. However, now it's diversified and broken up. So just keep that in mind when you're building your own builds, is try to keep things, you know, not symmetrical per se, not in straight lines. I'm not sure if that makes much sense, but anyways, guard dog would go here, but he would actually live in here like this. This would be the guard. This would be the dog on duty. I like that. But anyways, and here would be where the dogs actually sleep. This is the kennels. I just went with a very basic design in here. As you can see, there's cupolas, or not cupolas, but these are air vents up here to vent the air. Same thing with the windows right there. I think that that works pretty well. And then this is the wall access right here. It leads up to the covered ramparts up here, and then underneath each of these little chairs is a murder hole to shoot down on the enemy below if need be. So that is that. So we have 6 dogs in here, and each one has little bits of detail and such like that. And I need to fix that bit of the wall there. It's not supposed to be clay. So that's that. I also added a place to wash clothes down here by the well. It makes sense to have it down here. Also a cart to bring water from here up to the castle or up to the keep if need be. But this is going to be the well. There will be a walkway to an underground spring up here. There will be another water source and probably connected to this well at the bottom eventually. Pretty much a well. A well is pretty generic. You know, there's really not too much you got to do with it. Just kind of hollow out the inside. Make sure that you cobble around. And then what I did right here is I put fog blocks to hold up the water. That's why we're having that shaders glitch. And then down here you put like coins, a sword, things that are just being like sort of lost. That's the whole idea right there of what's at the bottom of the well. So next we are going to be looking at the actual servants building. Actually before that I want to show you this up here. There's this little flat spot on the roof. Now I worked on that to make it actually work. I really wanted to figure out what to do with that sort of flat spot in the roof. So I added in this turret right here. This is actually the stair tower. So it makes sense and it works, but you still have that flat spot. So what I did is I made that into a drain. So all the water that gets collected on this bits of the roof would go down there, and it would go down this, you'll see that there's this thing right there, and eventually I'm going to make a way for the water to drain outside of the castle down here. Now, ultimately, that's not a very good design. I think what I should maybe do is probably figure out a way just to flatten that out so all the water just kind of goes down. I might just go ahead and make the roof kind of come out from here and then slope it down either side. I think that might work out better, but we'll do that later on if need be. So I added in the dormers. Think that works out pretty good. Let's actually get in here and try to finish this up soon. We got some firewood to keep warm. Need some firewood there. This is the foyer. I removed that door that was there. I was gonna have a terrace outside. I'm unsure. We'll see what happens, but I think the terrace would be a defensive flaw to Lumiere. Then we're on the inside. This is where they would socialize and such together. They would eat, drink. You know, the servants need to have a nice, comfy place to be as well. Down here is the cellars, or the basement of the servants' building. This is where all their food and stuff like that would go. And I think that turned out pretty good. I need to make a rat hole for that rat. You know, a little hole in the wall for the rat to crawl through. But we'll do that later. So this right here is the stair tower. As you can see, it goes straight up. It has wall access right there that leads out to the wall, of course, hinted by wall access. And then this is the top of the tower. There wasn't really any reason to do anything else up here, so we just made a ladder that goes up to this part so you can actually see out these windows if you want. And there's like a chair up here with maybe some notes. Maybe someone's writing a book or something up here, and this is his little place of solace, possibly. So on the inside here, this is where all of the servants would live. Now the steward would live up here, which makes sense. The steward would have a nice view into the castle. So he has 2 windows, obviously a nice bed. The steward would handle all the dealings of all the servants. He would pass on the orders of the lord of the castle to the servants and tell them what their daily tasks are. And then there's public access out to here where they can look out over the balcony. They have a little sitting area right there. In here, a little place to socialize. And then each of the servants has, you know, their own little room. Well, this one has their own room right here. A little arrow slit right there. And then we go over here. This is a bunk room. So you got 4 that would live in this room. Few chests, some storage, etc. in there. This is a vent that lets the heat up from the floor below, from the stove below, the fireplace below. That's how the heat would come up into this section. The stairs that go up to the loft up here. And then you go in here. This is another room. You have another bed right there. And then you have miscellaneous storage and some chairs, things like that in here. And then you head outside to the wall access, which is right out here. So that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think that's pretty much all that there is to see. I guess another thing is, one more thing is, make sure that you don't build your courtyard flat. Try to add in some variation in the levels of the terrain using the snow layers and half slabs and stair blocks, etc. And it really helps. It really makes the general or the overall balance just really work. It makes it really look nicer, and really has a good look to it. So anyways, yep, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Also, I have a Facebook and a Twitter you can follow me on and check out what I am up to. Then I also have a Twitch where you can follow me and watch me build stuff like this. And then there is also my Patreon where you can support me monetarily if you so desire. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.